much, so that's fine. And then I have, which means now you have 6 degrees of separation with this tune, which I explained to Jerry early on. But I found this tune many, many years ago by accident when I was in London, and I picked up what was a local fake book. I collected them for years, which is just, and I saw this tune, never heard it, never seen it, never anything before, and I just played through it to see what it sounded like. I said, what a lovely song, what a beautiful lyric, and how nicely done. Well, go 40 years later, and I'm in the Bohemian Grove, and I meet this guy, and it's Jeff Silber, the guy who wrote it. And it changed his life, largely. And interestingly enough, I'm talking to him, and what changed it besides Bette Midler, it had been recorded by several other artists before, and always came close, never flew over the top. And the movie that it was in, that flew it over the top, was called Beaches. And I'm friends with the woman who wrote that novel. So she lives in Monterey. Her name is Iris Dart. And so I connected to this tune in a couple of ways, and now you are. So it has a lot of special meaning to me. So here we go. It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You've been content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind, and I was the one with all the glory. You were the one with all the strength, a beautiful face without a name for so long, a beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero, and everything I would like to be? I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Yes, I know I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero, and everything I would like to be? I can fly higher than an eagle, you are the wind beneath my wings. The wind beneath my wings. So fly, fly, fly away. You let me fly so high and fly, fly so high against the sky, so high against the sky I can almost touch it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, the wind beneath my wings.
We all have someone like that, don't we? We all have someone who has been the wind beneath our wings. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I put Ubuntu up as the topic for today, but it's going to be an open mic time for you to talk about people, the person who has been the wind beneath your wings. Could I have the next slide, please? Desmond Tutu says this about Ubuntu. We need other human beings for us to learn how to be human, for none of us comes fully formed into the world. We would not know how to talk, to walk, to think, to eat as human beings unless we learned how to do these things from other human beings. So today we're going to talk about those people who have been that for us, who have taught us and guided us and have been mentors. So I've got some questions up to just, you don't have to answer them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but just to get the thoughts flowing. Who in your life has inspired you? Who has been a mentor? What person has had a major impact on who you are today? How has another person affected who you are today? And who has made you into the person you are now? So I'm going to invite you to take the mic. And if you're on Zoom, put it in the chat and I will read it. And I'll just start by talking about a minister I knew who was at my field education church in Boston, who really taught me how to be a pastor and taught me about preaching. He was a wonderful preacher, and I just aspire to be as good as him. His name is Rick Spalding. I'm not in touch with him anymore, but he certainly has been a mentor to me and has guided me in my ministry. So it's your turn now.
I'll do one. I was very inspired by my 7th grade teacher, Mrs. Little, and what did I like about her? Everyone thought she was really, really hard. And so what she did is I think kind of like when you throw a dove in the air, you want to see it fly. That's what she did. She challenged us to do things that are harder than we thought we could do. And I think what I got so much from her was to see that when she put us to the challenge, that we could rise to it. If we did well, we take flight. If we didn't do so well, it's okay, you try again. And I think the long-lasting lesson is that it's not so scary to try those things and to know that you can always try again. And if you didn't like it, move on to something else. But it was this lesson of don't be afraid to try hard things.
Thank you. Yes, teachers are often the people who come to mind. Who else?
I would say that my mom was an inspiration and a mentor to me. She was just the kindest, sweetest person, and she always said one person makes a difference. And she had this poem up about a starfish, and there's millions of starfish that are just washed up along the beach, and this one person was throwing each one in, and then someone came and was like, you're not going to save any of the, you're not going to make enough to make an impact. And then he picked up another one and was like, I made an impact on that one. And so I thought it was so beautiful, and that's kind of how she lived her life. Like every person was so important, and whoever's in front of me mattered so much. And so I just think that's a beautiful way to live, and that's how I try to, just live on her memory. Thank you.
I would say I've had so many bosses over the decades, and I would say some of my strongest teachers have been some of my bosses in work situations, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. And also my movement teachers as well, somatic movement teachers, because through movement, I've just learned how to unedit myself and to be more myself and to be able to stand on my own ground.
I just had to whip through a couple of people that made a difference in my life really quickly. When my dad died when I was 7 years old, and so I didn't really have one. And I was very happy that for some reason these dad-like guys would come out of the woodwork. And one was a guy named Tommy Thomas. And he lived a few streets over, and he'd come over and go, "Want to go fishing?" It's like, you tell a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, yeah. So he would take me fishing, taught me how to put lumber together and build things. And my uncle would then come pick me up, take me to the Y with my cousins. And so I didn't feel like I was an abandoned kid on the street by those gentlemen who had no reason to pick up the slack. They just did it. And then a bunch of you already probably know about me being stranded on the road and being picked up hitchhiking by my teacher. There's some of you that have never been here before, but I would to see a concert that a wonderful vibraphone player by the name of Gary Burton was doing up in northern Ohio, and I'd gotten a ride with some friends who said they would give me a ride back to Indiana University, which is about 300 some miles away. And when the concert was over and I went to meet my friends, they had left without me. And so I'm hitchhiking back to Indiana University. And I'm not doing too well, but I get picked up about 100 miles outside of Toledo by a guy in a Travelodge, and it was Gary Burton himself. And it turned out that he had a house literally 5 miles from my dormitory in Bloomington, Indiana. And said, "I'll give you a ride." And he goes, "I thought you looked familiar," because from the concert, it was a smaller, because there was also a little master class, and I attended that. He changed my life. I moved to Boston because of him. So, there's my...
Others. You've all done it on your own?
I'm going to open my mouth. My mother and father were an amazing couple. I got so many different things from each of them. My father was a psychotherapist. My mother was a Holocaust survivor. And the combination was pretty amazing. They weren't perfect, but they were incredibly inspirational. I also have an aunt that is my best friend, my aunt, my sister, and like a mother. And then when I was listening to the song, "The Wind Beneath My Wings," all I could think of was my son and his wife. And my son, Joe, he's a Navy pilot, but yesterday he flew in the Reno Air Races. And he was able to fly his dream, a jet of almost 500 miles an hour. And he is the one that is always the center of everything. His wife is absolutely the wind beneath his wings. She is, in her own quiet, amazing, strong, beautiful way. He wouldn't do any of that without her. So shout out to his wife, Megan.
Thank you. Anybody else? Ruben.
My mom was an inspiration when I was up until about 8. She was always off at work, until about 12 actually. So I didn't really spend much time with her, but after I was 12, she stayed at home, and she taught me how to be a hard worker and a kind person, and to love. And I carry that on till today. And the other person that is my inspiration is my wife. We've been together since 2003 or so, and what is inspiring about us together is that we had hard times. We've had difficult times where we weren't happy with each other, and we stayed together and worked through it. And we work through it every day. It's not like one inspiration. It's a lifetime of beautiness, of togetherness, of working together, and loving each other in a very full way.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I guess what's really coming to mind for me right now is that I work in healthcare, and there have been some specific patients that I can think of that really bring out something, like, I don't know, I just really, like, care about them. And one in particular, he spoke a different language. I'm just going to be broad for, like, you know, I don't want to, like, tell this whole thing, but he spoke a different language, and it was just, like, it was really cool because near the end of our time together, he just wanted to hang out with me and listen to music, and he, like, put his arm on the chair next to me and was just like, "You're my friend." He said it in English, and I charted for a couple hours, and he just sat there, and we just kind of hung out. And I saw him during periods of time when he was really sick, and I helped him in, like, the more intense medical moments as well. So it was really nice to, like, connect and also help him medically. But then I think that was one of my most formative experiences of, like, merging, like, I'm, like, working as, like, a clinician, but also, like, whoa, like, I have, like, this, yeah, it was just a big experience working with him for a couple months.
Vera.
I have to say my grandparents. My grandfather got here in 1900 and worked and brought my grandmother over, and they kind of settled down and had a baby with my dad, and then the earthquake came, and my grandfather was working on a fishing boat, so he and my grandmother grabbed a gallon of wine and some bread, and they went out on the fishing boat, and they survived all of the big aftershocks in the city. Of course, that's illegal now. You can't take a boat out after a major quake. But anyway, it wasn't illegal then. And they got back, and their house was a mess. Everybody had wood-burning stoves, and the chimney came down. There was debris everywhere and dirt. It took them 3 days to clean it out. And at the end of those 3 days, they were exhausted. And there came a pounding on the door. "Get out now, now." And they obviously could not speak English. So my grandmother didn't know what to do exactly. 2 guys came, grabbed them, took them out of the house. My grandmother had her purse, some diapers, my dad. My grandfather came along. I think she grabbed a few things because there was a smell in the air. An hour later, everything that was left in that house had been destroyed, except for one trunk that was very badly charred. She opened it when I was about 10, I think. And it was the shoes she wore for her wedding day. The soles had come apart from the tops and had curled up. Her wedding gown, remarkably, was pretty much intact. She had her bridal corset, and she looked at that, and she looked at me, and she said, "You're going to have to survive a lot in this life. Be careful what you save." I've just never forgotten it.
Thank you. Thank you. I like the gallon of wine. That was.
The corset, not so much. Well, that reminds me of my mother's mother. I lost my mother when I was 13. She was 35. So I'm 66, so I'm almost double what she was. But my mom's mom, when she passed, and I didn't get to see her a lot, but I loved her. When she passed and I was with all my cousins, every single cousin thought they were her favorite. I mean, that's just amazing. You usually have a favorite and it's obvious, but all of her grandchildren thought they were the best.
Thank you.
I think the person most impactful in my life was my grandfather on my mother's side. He was the most gentle, soft-spoken, loving person, other than Cheryl, that I know. And he just was such an inspiration to me to learn how to quietly go about just being a good person, being special. He would walk down the street and he always had little candies in his pocket, and the kids would follow him like the Pied Piper because he was just so kind and so tender. And I just remember so many moments working with him in the garden at his house in the summer. Just the two of us, quietly working together, knowing how deeply I was loved, and also in the summer when we started going to a lake and renting a cottage. I'm the eldest of 8, so at that point I think there were most of us around. I think there may have been 2 more born after we were doing that. And I would go out when they were coming to stay with us. I would go out a couple days before and start gathering worms because he absolutely adored fishing. And he was so patient about it. And so I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning with him, and the water still as, I mean, you can feel the stillness around you, still dark, and we're starting across the lake in a rowboat, and he's fishing off the back. And there wasn't a lot of talking during so many of these things. It was just being in the presence of someone who, that you know, loves you and doesn't need to say anything for you to feel that. And to stand in his presence was a real joy. And I can remember so many times he had been in the service, and they had been gassed, and for some reason he wasn't supposed to have a lot of salt. And so my grandmother was very strict about different things. But when they'd come to visit and my mom and grandma would go out shopping, we were in heaven because we were listening to the ball games together, and I'd fix him lunch, and he loved cream of tomato soup. And no one ever fixed it for him but me, because I thought if it takes one day off of him, he will have so much love and happiness around it that it's worth it, right? And when I was in my junior year of college, I got a call from my mother that my grandfather was very, very ill, and they didn't think he was going to make it more than a couple of days. And I said, oh, I'm in the middle of exams. Just let him know that he needs to wait for me. So I was able to take a few of the exams early and rushed home and was with him in his final moments. And just I'm happy crying because it was just a wonderful feeling to just sit there and hold his hand and know that I had been loved beyond measure. Sorry.
Thank you. Yes. Anyone else? Let me see if there's anybody on Zoom. Helen Yee writes, I have been blessed with many mentors, inspirational individuals. My boss Ron during the AIDS epidemic before cocktails were available. My friend, mentor Paul, both in the star world. And Kathy Quigley writes, Mr. Durkee was my first male teacher in 5th grade. I was his pet, and he honed in on my problematic fathering. He would tie me in his car as I ran home with my big violin case. He gave me a pass and a spelling bee when I put one P in the word disappoint so that I could continue to be the smartest kid in the class. His love and attention was so needed by my 10-year-old girl. He was my hero dad substitute, and I am so grateful for his presence in my young life. Thank you.
You should never say you play violin, Kathy. Because if you show up next time, you better bring it.
You've been warned, Kathy. Okay, well, thank you all for your participation and for the memories. And those of you who didn't speak, I'm sure are thinking of people even now. So continue to just remember them and give thanks for them. For our meditation today, this is, of course, Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish celebration of the new year. And the meditation is about that. So just relax, close your eyes, take a deep breath. This is the month of Elul in the Hebrew calendar, a time of forgiveness, a time to forgive others, and a time to forgive yourself. In order to forgive, we have to deal with anger and disappointment, with hurtfulness and betrayal. Elul calls on us to deal with these feelings in a healthy, productive way. Anger and disappointment are normal and natural emotions, and there is nothing wrong with having feelings. You are human, after all. You have the power to decide how to deal with all the emotions you are experiencing. It's okay to be angry, to feel disappointed, to acknowledge hurt or betrayal. Just allow yourself to feel however it is you are feeling right now, noticing this feeling, but not reacting just yet. All you're doing is observing. Feelings are neither right nor wrong, they just are. Turn your attention again to how you are feeling in this moment. If you are feeling angry, take a moment to notice the physical sensation of anger. If you are feeling disappointment, take a moment to notice the physical sensation of your disappointment. Where in your body are these feelings stored? Some people notice that they tighten their shoulders when they are angry. Others who deal with anger notice their clenched fists or tight jaws. Disappointment may be experienced as a feeling in the stomach, the neck. Any one of a number of places in the body can demonstrate physical symptoms of emotion. Many of these physical symptoms are uncomfortable. Some of these symptoms can be relieved right now, if you like, by relaxing your muscles. Let's relax a few areas to begin this process to deal with anger by relaxing our muscles. Starting with your hands and arms, first tighten your hands into fists. Feel the tension in your hands and arms. Hold your fists tight, tighter, tighter, and relax. Let go, allowing your arms and hands to be relaxed again, loose and limp. Notice the difference between tension and relaxation. Now see if you can create a feeling of relaxation in your shoulders. Take a moment to relax your shoulders now. You may choose to tighten the muscles and then relax. Or you can simply relax your shoulders without tensing them first. Do whatever seems to work the best. Focus now on your face and jaws. Relax your face and jaws, tensing first if you want to. Let all the tension leave your face. Let the tension leave your jaws, leaving your face and jaws limp, smooth, relaxed. Scan your body now for any remaining areas of tension. Relax each area that feels tense. Scan your body from head to toe, relaxing each part of your body. Take note of how you are feeling right now, physically, emotionally. You are controlling your emotions right now. You have chosen to relax, to deal with your negative feelings in a healthy way. Take a moment now to visualize a person whom you would like to forgive in these days of Elul, to forgive before the new year arrives. Practice these affirmations as a way of offering forgiveness. 1. I freely offer the gift of forgiveness to 2. May he, she be blessed with wholeness and peace. May she, he be blessed with health and well-being in the year ahead. Notice again how you are feeling. Physically, how are you feeling? Let your body relax a little more, relaxing any tense areas. Emotionally, how are you feeling? See how emotions come and go. Anger can come and go. Disappointment can come and go. They will not last forever. To deal with any anger and disappointment that may remain, you may need a way to express your feelings and get them out. You do not have to keep your emotions inside. You can choose how to express them. You can let anger out by breathing deeply, breathing in relaxation, breathing out anger. Let anger go with each breath. Let's continue to try it right now. Take a deep breath in, breathe in the relaxation, hold it, breathe out the anger. Another breath in, relaxation, breathe out the anger. You can also let disappointment out in this way. Breathe in relaxation, breathe out disappointment, letting go of disappointment with each breath. A deep breath in, relaxation, and breathe out your disappointment. Now the time has come to look inward, to search within yourself. Now is the time to forgive yourself. Be kind. It is okay to forgive yourself. It is okay to participate in the healing of your soul. Practice these affirmations as a way of offering forgiveness to yourself. 1. I freely offer myself the gift of forgiveness. 2. May I be blessed with wholeness and peace. 3. May I be blessed with health and well-being in the year ahead. Continue your breathing practice, letting go of any anger or disappointment without each out-breath, breathing in relaxation. Now take a moment to congratulate yourself for forgiving yourself and others. When you are ready, slowly open your eyes. Wiggle your fingers and toes, stretch your back and your neck. The new year approaches. The gates of repentance will soon begin to open. Welcome back. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we are an ocean of love. And I just want to show you. I'm wearing ocean socks today.
Oh, very nice. I'm sorry, Jerry, but they're already complaining.
Oh, gosh.
Ocean socks. Ocean socks. There we go. Things we do for Zoom.
Here at Unity Spiritual Center, besides being an ocean of love, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. Each week, we will join together in saying one of our statements. Please join me in saying, with me in saying this week's statement, which is on the screen. Our mission is, we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And in this space, feeling so inspired by our mission and feeling so enriched by what we've experienced here today, let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. As Michael shares yet another song, another beautiful song, you are invited to support this congregation with a check made out to USC, or by cash, or by making a donation online. If you are here in the sanctuary, our usher, Josephine, will come around and to take your offering. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected every Sunday to various Unity organizations and local nonprofits that serve our city. Let us now take a moment to bless our tithes and love offerings as we cup them in our hands or hold them next to our hearts. And let us say our offering blessing, which is on your screen, which will be on your screen. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, Sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I could be. You raise me up to more than I could be.
Beautiful. Please join me in blessing our tithes and love offerings. Spirit of the living God, bless the acts of our hands, our minds, our hearts. May everything offered here at Unity Spiritual Center be a reflection of all that is good within us. Grant us the courage to patiently listen for the stirring of your presence. Enliven our spirits with humor. Fill us with reverence for one another and gratitude for our diversity. May unity, beauty, and truth be the fruit of all we do. And so it is. Amen. We are filled with gratitude. Gratitude for all who made this service possible. And I'll start again with Annabelle for being our fill-in technician. And of course, Michael and Ron and Ruben for bringing us music. And even though she's not in the room, we give thanks for Josephine Tan for being our usher today. I think I hit everybody. Our announcements are, oh, that's over. Okay, sorry, I forgot to take that out. The Reiki 1 class is this week. So this is your last chance to sign up. If you want to sign up, there's a sign-up sheet on the entrance table this time. And you can just see Cheryl, who's sitting right here. But that will be this week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday during the day. So our dance meditation will be held on Sunday, September 24th at 1 o'clock here in the sanctuary. You don't need to know how to dance. You can just come and just move. There's no judgment, right, Barbara? No judgment. The blessing of the animals is going to happen the following week on Sunday, October 1st, following the service out in the courtyard. Bring your pets, bring your bunnies and your cats and your dogs and geckos and whatever you have. And yes, and if your pet is not traveling or doesn't travel well or is too timid, bring a picture, just picture on your phone, and we'll bless them that way. The drumming circle is also October 1st at 1:30 here in the sanctuary or outside. We'll see. Amy Gallant wanted me to remind you that there are still medallions available in pewter, bronze, and silver. If you're interested in getting one, let me know, and I'll get you in touch with Amy. Volunteer opportunities constantly. You can volunteer, you can come into the office and help out. You can be an usher, you can be a greeter, you can be a platform assistant. You can be anything you want. This is an inspirational topic. And you can also provide hospitality. We're always in need of goodies. And finally, the daily word and readings and guided meditations continue Mondays and Thursdays at noon on our Zoom link. And here comes Here comes our young people.
Oh, well, this a little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Excuse me, with the songs that we sung today, I thought, oh, I think it's about friendship. So I had the boys draw something. It looks like they do something together and choose words that define friendship for them.
Friendship is caring, kindness, and compassion.
So let us take a moment to bless our youth and all children everywhere. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the presence of God in you, empowering you to do great things.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Okay, now the Zoom people can hear us. So go forth into this week. Go forth knowing that there is wind beneath your wings, and give thanks for those who have gotten you where you are today. And friendship is important. Remember that. So as we go forth, we remember the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. Thank you, God. Amen.